This is Tony. Tony manages multiple hotels. He has a family life. He has one daughter with another one on the way. He's in the middle of a move right now. He's stressed out, losing confidence, does not feel like his best self. He didn't really have time to lose 50 pounds, but he did it anyway in less than 20 weeks. Here's how I rebuilt his body without wrecking his life. When Tony booked a call with me, he was frustrated. He'd been kind of dragging his feet and he was tired of wearing baggy clothes just to hide the weight. He was feeling sluggish and unmotivated, just feeling like shit overall. His exact words to me were that, "Man, I've been lean before, but my old coach killed me on 1,400 calories, and I'd like to get back to that look without feeling like dog shit." So he was eating clean sometimes. He was training hard when he had the time, but the weight wasn't moving, his energy wasn't there, and he just was not getting the look that he wanted to achieve to be the high-performing man that he is. So when Tony hopped on a call with me, that first call, I didn't try to sell him a program. I tried to give him clarity. Clarity on his hormones, clarity on how stress was holding fat on his body, clarity why the untracked meals were sabotaging his eating. And once he saw the path that I gave him, he was all in. We rebuilt his routine from the ground up, simplified the nutrition, optimized recovery, tweaked the PEDs just a little bit. He was on TRT when he came to me. No guesswork, no bro science, just execution.
Just do it!
Now, the number one promise I made to Tony is the same promise I make to every client I take on. I guarantee the results or your money back. So in his specific case, we needed to make sure that we fixed the diet. That was the first part, for sure. So my promise to him was, hey, I'll get you shredded without taking you down to 1,400 calories and burying you in cardio like your old coach did. So I set him up on a carb cycling diet. And the carb cycling that I typically do is it's a more flexible week of eating. So when I set up a carb cycling diet, you may have seen Paul Barnett and some of the other bigger YouTubers. They like to do it a certain way where it's a little more extreme. I like to bring that medium day and the high day just a little bit closer together and not have the low days quite as low. That's more for consistency. In a bodybuilding context, people sometimes need to push a little harder, so having that bigger gap makes sense. Lifestyle guys just want to look like a fucking beast and perform at the highest level. A lot of times having that little bit of consistency helps. So what I did is I actually brought his carbs up higher than where they were before, and then made sure that the high day was more high carb focused and we eliminated the added fats. Now, when I say zero fats, I mean zero added fats. So the fat you get from your meats, like your beef or chicken, we don't include that because you can't really measure that. It's not quantifiable. The butcher just looks at it and throws it in the thing and says 96%, and there we go, boop, out the door. Can't really measure that. So we don't include those few calories in there, and we try to keep everything consistent because if we measure things the same way every single day, that will give us the consistency that we need to see the actual progress. Now, by making it more flexible, it made what Tony had coming up a lot easier to manage. He was taking a trip to Vegas. He actually had back-to-back trips 2 weeks in a row. So we knew the eating and everything wasn't going to be perfect, but we still needed to make progress. So me as the coach, I made the executive decision that we can go ahead, try to have some fun meals, make it fit within the meal plan, hit the gym in the morning, and then I increase his steps. Because when you're in Vegas, anybody who's been there before, you know you can walk a long distance down the strip. So I told him, all right, crank it up. We'll get 12 to 14K steps in terms of your daily energy expenditure, and then that way you don't have to do as much cardio. You don't have to spend as much time in the gym on a work vacation that you might not even have the time to actually do. But if you build those steps in, you go to a restaurant and meet your coworkers and you walk there instead of taking an Uber, now you've burned more calories and you can kind of compensate there. So we went ahead and made sure that that was dialed in. We had the trip accounted for. His PEDs were slightly raised, but his total load is under a gram. He'd ran twice as much in the past and didn't get the same results he's had with me. Because at the end of the day, having the accountability, making sure your diet, your training, and everything else is in alignment is going to garner better results than if you just took a bunch of gear and didn't do everything perfect. See, in my Alpha Rebuild protocol, I can see every single thing you eat, every single rep you do in the gym, and every time you weigh yourself in on a daily basis. I have management over it, so if you fuck up, I see it. And that way we can right the ship and get you back on course. Because at the end of the day, it's not punitive. I want people to have the best results they possibly can have. That is why I do the cycle reviews on here. That is why I do the more entertaining videos and still try to make them educational at the same time, because I want people to do their best and look their best. A lot of times you guys try to overdo the gear or not take your health markers into serious consideration, and that's why you don't look like you want to look. I get so many people that tell me,
Oh, I wish I looked like you.
well, you don't invest the same amount of energy, time, or money into it that I do. So how would you ever look like me?
Real talk, real action.
And that's what I don't understand. Is some people will blow $10,000 on junk food in a year or physique destroying habits, but then you go to offer them a $3,000 or $5,000 coaching package, make sure they get the results within a couple months, and they kind of balk at that. And it just never really clicked with me. I never understood why some people have that. It's more a mindset than anything else.
Stop
Stop being a moron!
Whereas, this investment, this minuscule investment in the long grand scheme of things, say most people in their lifetime make over $1 million. You wouldn't take, 1% of that and invest that into being and feeling your best? That's just crazy to me. And Tony has that same mindset. And believe me, it wasn't a smooth process. We had digestive issues. He had some side effects from the growth hormone, other things that just were throwing everything off a little bit. And we really had to make changes because the scale weight was all over the place. And that's why we don't just go on the scale weight. I make sure I do visual assessments every single week on the pictures you send in to make sure we're making progress. So Tony's weight hadn't changed very much the first few weeks, to be honest with you. Not as much as you would expect, but his visuals were significantly better. And in the end, if you are on a good program with a good coach, your visuals will change before the weight does. And that's the thing, the weight will catch up as you go. Visuals improve, and all of a sudden that weight, you'll have a big drop as it comes down. And anybody who's coached for a long time has seen this. Some clients, it takes a little bit longer to see that big number come down. But if we are doing visual assessments and you let the client also see what you see. So when I do a check-in, I do a Loom video and I show you exactly what you looked like day one versus now. So you get to see the same exact thing I see, and we can make a collaborative effort together to get you in the best shape of your life. And because of some of the side effects and things Tony was having, we had to dig in and change his diet around. I made sure he got more vegetables in, increased his fiber intake, and then by adding retatrutide, it actually improved his digestion. Because a lot of times when people have inflammatory issues in their bowels, you actually see some improvements if you're using retatrutide or BPC. Oddly enough, it seems to make a difference. So we went ahead, we implemented some of the peptides in there also, along with gradually increasing the cardio as needed. And it wasn't easy for him. He's missed cardio numerous times. I've been on him about missing a few days here and there throughout the course of this. But at the same time, he's been moving. He has a pregnant wife. He has a daughter. He manages multiple hotels. There's a lot of shit going on, and it's hard for him to stay on track. That is what he hires me to do, is just go ahead and I take all the guesswork out, give him the plan. Hey, this is what you got to do, dude. Go ahead and knock it out. It only takes him maybe an hour to meal prep a week. And then you just put the time in the gym and everything else is done for you. And I don't believe in just sitting here pitching myself the whole video or anything like that. So what I'm going to give you guys, go ahead, get a taste of this. Since I love to give out extra layers of support, that's why we have our school group. That's why I have my internal chat with my clients. That's why you have me to help you out, both for free on Instagram, on here, and as a coach if you hire me. But I want to also give you something tangible you can use too. So go ahead, drop the comment cookbook down below, and we're going to show Greg Doucette how shitty his fucking $300 cookbook is compared to the one that I paid a chef over $300 to make for you guys for free. Now, these are all macro friendly and carb cycling friendly recipes, so they actually apply to bodybuilding instead of Greg's cancer cookbook full of artificial sweeteners. So go ahead, drop that comment down below, and I'll send it to you. You guys can enjoy that. And if you want to get it delivered even easier, go ahead, just follow me on Instagram and send me a DM on Instagram and ask for the cookbook there. It is way easier to send on there than YouTube. Obviously, they don't have the messaging system they used to have back in like 2007 or whatever it was when you could send DMs, unfortunately. In a way, and there was a lot of spam though, so I don't blame them necessarily. But yeah, Instagram would be the easiest way to deliver that to you. But as I said, drop a comment down below and I'll try to get it to you on here also. But by following the diet and the plan that I laid out for Tony, by 20 weeks, 50 pounds had melted off. Visually, even more so. He had more energy, more confidence, no longer hiding from the excuses. And yeah, he did it while managing multiple teams. He had his team with his daughter, his wife, his employees, his work. This is the power of a high performance system built in real life. His transformation is so extreme, even his wife of 12 years is flat out impressed and giving him compliments. That's the kind of head turning results you don't typically see people get that are on gear. And if you think about it, a middle-aged guy who has a six pack and makes over six figures is better than the top 1% of the population. There are less men in the world with six packs than men that are millionaires, which is crazy to think about. I think there's 3 to 4% of men end up being millionaires, whereas only 1% have a six pack. So I think anybody who's actually fit and in shape, you are one of the rarest, highest achievers out there. So if we can combine those two, you are instantly at a level that 99% of men will never achieve.
1 in a million. 1 in a million. 1 in how much?
A million.
A million.
Think about that level of respect when you walk in the room. Everybody turns their head to you and they realize that this guy owns the fucking room. You walk into the room with your buddies and their wives, and all their wives are making comments about how good you look, making them jealous. Wouldn't that feel great? Isn't that something that every man wants, to have that kind of dominant aura around him that everybody else feeds off of? That's the kind of power that we provide people here. So once again, if you want to sign up for coaching, I have my links down in the description below. Go ahead, take the leap. I guarantee the results or your money back. Now, a side effect of all of this is now that Tony looks so good and he has such a commanding presence that he started posting on Instagram and he's rapidly gaining followers. He's had multiple people hit him up for coaching, both in person and online. And now he's making extra revenue on the side on his own coaching, which he never expected to do when when you join the program. And I've had multiple clients go down this road too. So not only are we building their mindset, building their physique, their confidence back, but now we're also increasing their income. Why would you not want to join a program like that? If you're a man and you can improve every single facet of your life within 16 weeks, would you not do that? There's a statistic out there, and they found that overweight, lazy people make up to 20% less than people that are in shape. You don't have the same level of success, the same mindset, the same drive these people do. And that's not to shit on people. I know there is the potential for people to do so much better, but the problem is your limiting beliefs always stop you from making the leap. You'll see people go out and spend $2-3 grand on a TV on Black Friday, but they won't invest $5,000 into their body to make themselves more money to afford 10 of those fucking TVs, better health, a longer lifespan, more admiration, a better sex life, and you're a better leader for your family. Why is that always accepted over being what you know you could be? So if you want to join Tony and then dozens of other men that have worked with me to transform their lives, as shown here, so don't wait another day, another week, another month for some magical fairy to wave their wand and say,
Okay, you're ready now.
you don't have to ask your wife's permission to get into shape, to be healthier and provide more for your family. What you need is actual clarity and a plan to know how you're going to achieve those exact results. So go ahead and book the same call that Tony did. The link's in the description, or you can DM me the word Tony in my Instagram and I'll know you've seen this video. And this isn't for everyone I know. I have high standards of who I work with, and I want to make sure that you have the same mindset to achieve these things. But if you're ready to execute, then let's rebuild you now. Go ahead and message me, Tony, and we'll get you started.